Okay. All right, we are live. This is Astral, Projection, Trance Work, and Biofeedback with Richard Benak.
Well, thank you. I'm Rich Benak, and we'll be doing our presentation on looking at astral projection, trance work, biofeedback, and other tools for healing. So let me just begin. So one of the things we're going to look at is we're going to look at a number of basically functions of, the astral projection, trance work, just overall feedback, and our subconscious, looking at things such as how does astral projection, what is it, and what is trance work? How does this affect us? We're going to look at the self, going to look at sort of how we do, use the subconscious to protect ourselves and to keep ourselves healthy, and what role the subconscious actually does have in our overall process. So we'll kind of, just like I said, also look a little bit at how biofeedback works and its relationship with, with the trance work, hypnosis. And then at the end, we're going to do a guided visualization. It'll be a very, very light guided visualization, but just to help, give you a feel for what it's like to do a scanning of your body and how you can use trance work to help yourself stay a little bit more healthy. Let's see. Good. So what I want to do is I want to basically do a caveat that this workshop is not a substitute for medical advice. So if you are experiencing some sort of medical or mental health issue, please go see your medical or mental health professional. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. So definitely work with your licensed professional. One of the things we want to keep in mind is people have heard of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind, can be anywhere between 5% and 0.5%. This is our thinking, our logic, our reasoning. It's the subconscious mind where a lot of the power lies. It controls all aspects of our systems. It's how we manage our entire body, the cell life. We don't think about breathing or our heart pumping or how to digest food. It's all done at the subconscious level. It's the intelligence that manages our bodies. It's, in a lot of ways it's literal, but it also responds in many ways to the metaphors. A metaphor is a powerful tool for keeping healthy and working with your subconscious. And we'll talk a little bit about that. One of the interesting things with the subconscious is that there's no distinction between time. Their past, present, and future all can be the same to the subconscious. So this is if you've ever done past life regression or future progression, you're working with the subconscious because it does not understand the concept of time. Every time is now. And a lot of it is it just sort of generalizes on how we work. So it's just the overall, it's the workhorse of how our body works. We're going to do a little bit of, understanding of what definitions are. So first one of the things we want to do, is how we see the world. We filter our information through our senses. People will sometimes use the word biases. I much more prefer the term perception. We all perceive the world in reality differently. We have a set of filters. And so this is what we do. This is how we see the world. With trance, we can change how we filter information. That's the whole purpose of trance, is to change the filters around, the information we're getting and how we perceive the world. it's just, it's a much more efficient way of directly accessing the subconscious rather than going through these filters. As we had mentioned, the subconscious is the controlling intelligence on our body. It controls all the cells, every part of it, how our cells, reproduce and feed and do what they need to do. The subconscious also strongly affects our health, both positively and negatively. Another term you may hear is hypnosis and biofeedback. We will be talking about that in today's presentation. And basically, they're the same thing. The biggest difference is that in biofeedback, you're hooked up to monitors that give you, information on the status of your body. Hypnosis, it's a little bit more ad hoc, where you don't have the monitors, but the techniques are very similar. And then astral projection. Astral projection is, kind of very interesting. We see a lot on TV and the movies. It's kind of, it's got this, very magical, almost woo-woo type of perception. But basically what astral projection is, it's basically a trance-based out-of-body experience. It sort of bypasses a lot of the physical limitations, and it provides us a different way of seeing reality. So if you want to think about astral projection, it's just a tool for seeing reality in a different way. Now, this can mean many different things and can be used in many different ways, but at its basis, it's just how you see the world differently. Okay. So, there we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about trance. Again, a lot of people have done trance work in their practices, but some people have not, and many people have done trance work and may not have even known it. One of the best examples of trance work is that if you ever driving and you drive, you leave your driveway, or you get in your car, you put on your favorite music or an audio book, and then you end up to where you were going, but you don't remember how you did it. You're just like, okay, I'm there, I'm here. That's a good example of trance. You were in trance and you didn't know it, but your body knew what to do. It knew how to drive the car. So that's probably one of the best examples that we run into every day. You also see it if you're watching a good movie or reading a book. But you can also go into trance deliberately. And the way to do this is you want to clear all your thoughts, just clear any distracting thoughts from your mind. Many people, this is hard. There's ways to do this through breathing techniques, through muscle relaxation, but that's the basic starting, is just to clear any thoughts. And then learn to relax your body. So again, you can do this through breathing, some muscle relaxation, but just relaxing. Then integrate breathing. You can go into trance without breathing, but breathing is a powerful technique for doing trance work. You slow your breathing, you just make it very rhythmic. And as you take control of your breathing, it can help bring you into trance. Breathing is one of those interesting things that you can control, but it also works just fine without you controlling it. So it can be done under your control or by itself. And then once you're in trance, you can start doing what we call programming. You can change unhealthy thoughts, beliefs, or patterns. You can address health issues like dealing with pain. So this is how you can program your body using trance, because you're bypassing most of your conscious level filters. And for many people, who do struggle to try and get into trance, there's a lot of MP3 on the internet, hypnosis. A favorite author of mine is Christopher Penczak. He has some amazing, his CDs are truly amazing. I recommend trying them to try different things. So, but there's plenty of free ones on the internet as well, if you want them. We're going to talk a little bit about mind-body medicine. And again, this is, it's also often called holistic medicine, or let's see, complementary or alternative medicine. So it has a lot of different names. It can include things like meditation, relaxation, guided imagery, hypnosis, biofeedback, even yoga, Tai Chi, prayer, some types of therapy like art and music therapy, even cognitive behavior therapy could fall into this. They're not the traditional medicines that we think of for handling their physical bodies, but they are powerful tools that can allow us to better manage them. I've got kind of some quotes from some articles here that talk about hypnosis and medicine. It's very interesting. The medical community has a very love-hate relationship with medicine, with the hypnosis. They recognize that there's a lot of very powerful and very powerful and interesting techniques that could be very useful. But there's also, a lot of people have kind of taken the hypnosis and gone off places that medicine is not necessarily comfortable with. So it's, like I said, it's a lot of, there's increasing interest around this. I've seen like the Veterans Administration has spoken highly of it. The National Institute of Health has talked a little bit about it, but I don't think it's necessarily been formally adopted as much within the medical community, but I'm hoping this will change. But if, for example, hypnosis has been able to be used with Astral, helping to deal with anxiety and pain. Again, studies, they've been studies that you can accelerate healing, wound healing, surgery healing when you use hypnosis. It can actually be more effective than things like, physical therapy and other types of, healing. And then some studies have all shown it things like dealing with headaches, abdominal, stomach pain, anxiety, and depression, grief, phobias, anger, sleep disorders. Again, you always want to work with your licensed medical professional on these, but a lot of times, when medicine's reached its limits, you can look at these complementary and alternative medical solutions. Just working, again, get feedback from your medical professionals and let them know you're doing this. But again, it's a very powerful tool. Learn to access your subconscious. You can help take greater control of your health. And I think ultimately, whether we're dealing with medicine or anything, that's the goal. We want to, is that we should all be part of keeping ourselves healthy. We can't expect, the doctors or anybody else to have a greater interest in keeping us healthy than ourselves. Some of the interesting studies that have been done is on the immune system. Now, what they've found is that hypnosis and guided imagery can help with basically increasing the response of the immune system. So this is where they think some of the power comes in, is, if you're healing from a surgery, and I've done this myself, is you can then use hypnosis and guided imagery to do a visualization to deal with healing, helping your body heal. It also is a great supplement to antibiotics to help strengthen them. They're not a substitute, but they can help, if you're fighting off infections, to increase your immune system using visual tools. One visualization I've seen used is sort of a Pac-Man. For those of you who remember Pac-Man, is that you can use this going after infections or even cancer, is to help supplement your treatment. On the other side, we've also seen that stress is very damaging to the immune system. I mean, this is well known that if you're under a high level of stress, it diminishes your ability of your immune system to respond to attacks. So with hypnosis, trance work, you can fight back. By reducing your stress on your body, you can then, your immune system is better able to help protect you. So you can supplement the immune system, and then you can also keep it from getting too weakened through working through your subconscious. I'm going to talk a little bit about biofeedback. As we mentioned, think in terms of biofeedback and hypnosis as basically the same process. With biofeedback, you're basically connected to a tool or a monitor that gives you feedback on how your response is to your changes. So, it's just a little bit more high tech. I know it's used in areas like sports and physical therapy. So, but ultimately, it's all about learning to work with your subconscious to manage your body, and that's what this whole workshop is about. Just learning to work with your subconscious. But with biofeedback, one of the key things that have been done and that's been studied is trance work and blood flow. You can learn to manage your blood flow with hypnosis, trance work. I've worked with some of my clients and students, and we can put you in a trance and you can slow down your heart rate. I had one of my students, she was a CNA, and she actually did a test where, it's like she took her, heart rate before they put her in a trance and after, and it was somewhat lower. I mean, not a lot, not dangerously, but her heart rate was beating slower. I've also done a situation. It was interesting. I tend to have high blood pressure, but I went into the doctor's office the first time. The nurse took my blood pressure, said, it's a little bit high. Maybe, you just did exercise or something. I'll come back in a few minutes. I did some meditation, some breathing work. I came back, and then the doctor took my blood pressure and said, it looks a little low. And so, you can do some of the control around your blood pressure. And this can help you with things like anxiety, stress, pain management is a big one, is learning to use the blood flow. I've done this. It's an old martial arts technique, used like by the samurai. Why did they study meditation? Well, if they were in a sword fight and got cut, they didn't have surgeons, so they would use, tools like meditation to, keep themselves from bleeding out. So this was part of their training, is, back, in the 1600s when we didn't have modern medicine, you used some of these to keep yourself healthy. It's obviously swelling, headaches. This is a big thing, is you can just, visualize your, blood moving away from, your headache, and, feeling your body relax, your neck muscles relax. And again, using this as part of your response to an autoimmune, where you can visualize your immune system, standing up, and flowing to an area that it needs to protect. Another area that we talk a little bit about is the basic heart rate variability. We had already mentioned that you can change your heart rate. You can increase it, you can decrease it, and this can help in areas like asthma, stress, hypertension, learning to control your heart rate. And a lot of, like I said, it's if you you just practice that, it's like you're getting very, very relaxed. You're feeling very tense. Your heart rate is racing. You just take a couple of minutes, do some meditation, visualize your heart rate slowing. That can help you a lot. I've done this through some breathing techniques. I was trained by some Russian ex-special forces. It's a tool they use. It's like if you see, suddenly your heart rate goes up for anxiety, they use it for going into combat, is using breathing techniques like very quick, short breathing. What it does is it invokes the parasympathetic nervous system, and your heart rate goes down. You get much more relaxed. So just like I said, is if there's sudden spike in adrenaline or something like that, you can learn to bring it down through breath work and meditation. And again, this is used a lot in sports. Sports are doing it. Military is doing it. A lot of their special operations people are taught this. They taught biofeedback. It's not necessarily talked a lot in public, but again, elite athletes, special forces, people like that do this. Awareness training. This is, like I said, it's just how to be aware. This is another area is, how to manage your body. You can increase your awareness as you walk into a place. Mental rehearsal. This is a big tool right here. Sports people use it a lot. I work with a group. We do a lot of work with swords. We actually use real swords in our training when we do, and we do a lot of this type of mental rehearsal work. How to use these type of tools, safely. And a lot of it is basically doing mental rehearsal. We basically do a lot of going to the subconscious, and we sort of program people how to respond. So working with, when you're dealing with this type of situation and you want to keep people safe, you can, train people. People can learn to, how to respond at a subconscious level versus how to think about it. They know, something's gone wrong. I can immediately respond without having to think about it. Again, this is some of the training that I do with a group called Sean Keel. And then fears and phobias. We all have them. Learning how to manage, how to desensitize to them, whether it's a fear of flying or a fear of spiders, that fear may always be there, but you can learn to manage your response to it. If you're afraid of spiders and, when you see it, you see suddenly is, your heart starts racing, you jump back, you get very stressed. But with, meditation, hypnosis, and sort of mental programming, you can say, yes, I see that. I may not be comfortable. I'm just going to walk away. So it doesn't necessarily get rid of the fear, but it does get rid of the negative response. So how you respond to things can be changed. And that's a lot of the power of working with the subconscious, is changing your response. And that's what biofeedback does. Pain, this is a good example, is in how we manage pain. Basically, hypnosis, trance work, meditation has been shown to reduce pain. That's pretty much the studies show this. It's pretty clear. We live in a society, it's easier to kind of take some pills than, spend a half hour doing some deep meditation. But it's, this can be very, very powerful as well. If, you can use it to supplement painkillers as well. Obviously working with your doctor. Basically, areas like arthritis, they've been shown to do a lot of it. I have bad knees from too many years of martial arts, And I frequently do like meditation to just relax the knees. And so relax the muscles, the tendons, to feel, like I said, any discomfort flowing out. So it doesn't take away all the pain, but it helps a lot. It helps manage it versus having to take large numbers of painkillers. So it's interesting, like I said, is looking at how biofeedback works with pain, because it's very, very similar to like meditation. Again, big difference. Biofeedback, you have cool, expensive tools connected to you. Meditation, hypnosis, you don't have the cool tools. You got to just sort of take a wild guess on how it's affecting it. But in biofeedback, the first stage is you get awareness of your body and your response. So this is really important, is in anything you do around the health, is understanding how your body is responding to a situation. Pain is the response. Pain is your body telling you something is wrong. Now, sometimes what happens is the body, doesn't turn off. It's saying there's something wrong, even though, the problem may have gone away. Or you're aware of it. But a lot of it is just learning to, connect to it, recognize that, that pain, or other responses, other negative responses, stress, or anxiety. These are responses to that your body is doing, and your body has good intentions. So this is the important thing, is recognizing and acknowledging what your body is doing. Is it's trying to protect you. It wants to keep you safe. Your subconscious, I wouldn't say its only function, but one of its primary functions is to keep you safe. And sometimes how it does it may not always be the best. And so, and this is an area that we can use, hypnosis, meditation, trance work, all of these, biofeedback, to help make your body better at managing itself. So first stage is just gaining awareness to identify, negative responses that are not helping you. Second is you just use the biofeedback to practice controlling your response. So your response may be, I'm going to slow down my heart, if I'm running into some anxiety, or I'm going to decrease my blood flow to an area, part of my body. Or I'm going to, just kind of send more blood to a part of my body that I want healing. So you just practice this using biofeedback. But if you don't have a biofeedback device, you can practice this on your own. And then finally is you don't need the device anymore. You are trained where you know how to respond. If you need some healing work, you can, I need to send some blood to that part of my body so it can bring, the white blood cells, or I've been cut. I cut myself. I did that last week. I cut myself. So I spent a half hour just, relaxing and stop the bleeding. I use of course I use Band-Aids and Neosporin, but I also did some meditation to help with this deep cut and stop the bleeding. So, and again, you practice this, just practice. I'm not saying, like I said, is get cut when you get cut, but just practice, just being able to practice this with the technique, hey, I want to send, I want to send some blood to my hand. So this is a common training technique, is I want to make my hands warmer. I will send my blood to my hands. I want to make my hands colder. I will pull the blood back from my hands. So you can practice this at home. Hey, my feet are cold. I'll go send some meditation and send some blood to my feet. So, but that's stage 3, is the point where you don't need to have, the machines. You know how to do it. You know your body's response. The chakra system. I'm sure we've all heard of the chakra system. It's very commonly used in in pagan community and yoga. We use it in the martial arts. And it's important to note that almost every culture has its own form of chakras, their own chakra system. We've kind of adopted this Indian-based chakra system because it's very good. It's clear. It works. In this, where there are the 7 major chakras and like over 300 minor chakras. The only people I really know that do a lot of work with the minor chakras are some martial arts that do acupuncture, acupressure. Obviously, acupuncturists do a lot of work with this as well. But in many ways, it's both. There's physical aspects to it. There's also metaphysical aspects. We're going to do actually a work with this. We're going to work and open up our chakras during a guided visualization. But the root, basically, this is our most closest to the earth. Our sacral. This is associated with sex, energy, emotions. The solar plexus. This is often connected with the body. The heart, this is connected to our emotions, love, in many ways, the connection to the universe. Throat, this is our voice, our communication. And it's very important because often we don't communicate with our body. We don't have a good communication with our body. We don't understand what it's doing. And so this is an area of importance. The third eye, this is in between your eyebrows. This is our psychic connection. Basically is, how we can get things perhaps from non-physical sources, but are still valid. And then the crown, this is our connection to basically the spiritual realm. And the spiritual realm can easily have a part in our health as well. So we're going to do a technique today we call body scanning. And this is something that anybody can do. I strongly encourage people to just practice this, learning to connect to your body and scan it. You can also look for health problems that may not be obvious. But the first step in scanning your own body, and again, I could call this as sort of a type of astral projection. It's sort of a pre-astral projection. So where you're scanning your own body. So when I teach AP, this is the first step. What you can do is once you become very efficient in it, you can go scan other people's bodies with their permission, of course. So this is a common practice where a technique is that you're working with your partner, for example, and you go into trance, and then you practice scanning their body, and then they also scan their body, and then you compare. And it's often very interesting. I've seen this exercises and done it. Is you can find problems in your partner that they knew they had, or they kind of suspected they had, but you're confirming it, even though they may not have been visible. So when we talk about body scanning, it's a form of astral projection or pre-astral projection. With the next step with much more advanced practicing is you can do this on other people. But to start on your own body the first is just taking a deep breath. Breathing in it is the way to think about it. Is breathing is the beginning of all energy work and all trance work. If anybody's heard the term chi or ki, in some translation it means breath. So that's breath. Learning breath work is If you want to learn, energy work, learn breath work. And then you can just practice breathing in healing energy. So if you find a place that you want to do healing, practice bringing in healing energy into that part of your body and exhaling pain, discomfort, or any of the negative. You bring in good energy from that location. You exhale bad energy, unhealthy energy. And then just basically, what are you sensing? What do you feel in the different parts of your body? Just acknowledge it. This is another important area. Learn to connect with your body and acknowledge what it's telling you. Too often, it's like, my ankle hurts, but you're not. Why is people are not taught, why is my ankle hurting? Should I connect to it? Learn to ask it. And you can do this in some of the trance work, is talk to your body. Your body will tell you what's going on. And then you can send, like I said, breath to that part of it. If your ankle is hurting, you can learn to breathe into that area. This was an area I learned in martial arts. It was kind of a very rough system where they would, for example, hit you in the chest, and part of your technique was you would breathe into it to accelerate the healing and recovery process. So, they would just, again, you take a strike, a hit, you would breathe in, and it would then help you recover quickly. And then, after that, what you want to do is you start tuning into the different organs in your body. This is something we don't normally do, but how do you connect to your stomach, your intestines, your pancreas? Just, connect to it, learn to communicate it through it, each of the organs. Go to each chakra, open the chakra, all 7 of the major chakras. You don't need to do all 300 of them, but, go to each chakra, open it up. I know many magical practices, they teach that. It's always good, do it a couple times a week. Just practice that. You'll feel a lot different. Notice what information you're getting. So this is important. What is your body telling you as you're doing this scan? What is it telling you? Hey, my ankle hurts. Okay. You go in there. Oh, okay. I have pulled a muscle, or I may have, hurt a tendon. I should look at that, or maybe I should just put some ice there. But if you connect to that part of your body, it'll give you guidance on what it needs. And then just ask, what does your body need more of? A common answer is, I need more sleep, or I need more water. These are common deficiencies we see in our lives. And you don't have to listen to it, but it's always a good idea. If your body's telling you, I need more sleep, listen to it. You can make the decision, but it's telling you, what do I need less of? Things like caffeine. If you're a 5 cup a day, caffeine fiend, it may be telling you, through some of your physical problems, less caffeine, more water. Ask the soul what it needs more of. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about soul retrieval, but sometimes at that level, we may see physical problems from the soul. This is especially tied to trauma. A lot of our physical problems, may often come from trauma. The trauma of, when we were much younger, maybe recent trauma, perhaps even trauma from past lives. But trauma has a big impact on our health, and learning to deal with trauma is really important. Scanning auras. So, you want to practice scanning your own aura initially, and then but after a while, you know, you can do it for other people. Just learn to practice with your training partners, you know, scanning the auras, get permission, of course. I've had a lot of people come up and, you know, I don't know if any other people have had, you know, oh, I'm reading your aura and, you know, and then they start trying to diagnose you, and often it's not very close, you know, so they may be projecting. But if, you know, if you talk to somebody and, you know, get their permission, you know, practice. And again, just practice, you know, with your training partners, you know, as they're going, hey, I just had a really bad day at work. Well, let me, you know, hey, let me scan your aura, see what that's like. Or, hey, I had a great day, you know, off and slept well. Let me practice scanning your aura. You know, take notes, you know, again, kind of, you know, when you work with your training partner, just, you know, take notes. Says, hey, here's what I'm seeing there. Okay, that's really good. You know, again, check your chakras, your organs, making sure they're okay. You can do, cleanse them. This is a really important thing when you're dealing even with yourself, is don't judge what you're getting. Just write it down, acknowledge it. You know, if your knee is hurting and it's telling you, okay, I feel like, you know, you may have torn something there. Don't say, no, I know better. It's just, you know, a strain. Listen to your body, you know, don't judge it. Just, you know, acknowledge it, write it down. It may be right, it may not be wrong, but don't, you know, that's something to be determined later. What you want to do is just initially work through it. And then, like I said, is once you've done your assessment, just kind of clear your energy. You know, if you want to send some healing energy, there's a whole lot of things you can do. Just clean yourself up. You know, psychic hygiene, if you've heard that term, just release that. And, you know, ideally you can do this every day. You may not necessarily, you know, have time for that, but at least a couple times a week, go do this. And especially if you're having, you know, some sort of, hey, I feel kind of, you know, crappy today, or I didn't get enough sleep, or you know, work is driving me crazy. You know, just doing this can really, really help you, help keep you healthy. I mean, this is, in a lot of ways, it's preventing problems as much as detecting it. I'm going to talk a little bit about past life regression. And, you know, again, past life regression is not necessarily universally recognized as a healing technique, but it can be. You know, for example, if you're finding out, hey, you know, I'm just having a lot of negative problems in my life, you know, even something like abusive relationships, or unable to relate to people, or I keep having these strange pains that the doctors can't figure out, and they just keep telling me it's in my head. You know, like I said, these may be related to a past life regression. Fears and phobias. Hey, I'm afraid of spiders. I don't know why. You know, again, you know, maybe it's a past life. You can also use a past life as, hey, you know, I'd like to go to a time when, you know, a past life where, you know, the person was really, really healthy. They were a warrior and they were working out, you know, hours every day. And how can I learn from that? A past life is a kind of somewhat of a controversial practice. You know, and if I'm working with a client and, you know, for example, we were trying to do some work and, you know, needed insurance to pay for it, I would basically say, could be a metaphor. So this is a way to go out and look at things from a different perspective. So, you know, just don't always necessarily, past life does not necessarily mean it's historically accurate or absolutely happened as you saw it. It could be as easily as just a different way to see a problem. But it's a very powerful tool to, the way to think about it is it's a way that your body, your mind can look at a problem as this is a person like me, but not me, but like me with my same problems. How did they have this? What did they do about it? How did it affect them? So again, phobias and fears are a great example of a way to do that. So, and with past life regression, you can do some healing as well, so that and bring that forward into your current life. Another very powerful tool is a soul retrieval. Again, it's a shamanic practice, but it's been used throughout history by many different cultures. Even the Christians to varying degrees would sort of recognize some aspects of it. It's kind of a very holistic approach that I'm there. Your body's having some problems. Nobody can seem to help. The doctors and the mental health professionals really can't do it. But there seems to be something missing in your life. So there is something that's just not there. It could be, you feel something's missing in your life. It could be a fear, anxiety. It may show up as, again, insomnia, fatigue. And again, these are situations where there's no clear medical or mental health issue identified that, the doctors and the mental health professionals saying is, we don't know. And maybe they'll all give some pills or something, but perhaps it could be that there's some sort of trauma in your life, even in a past life, and a soul retrieval may be a way to help. Again, situations like, if I just don't feel like I'm in control of my life, there's something missing there, a soul retrieval may be a valuable tool for dealing with that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about your psychic health. So again, what we've seen is the psychic health and the physical health are very, very clearly tied together. They're very closely associated. We also talk about the word getting triggered. The problem is the word triggered has kind of gotten a negative response, perception. And that's not necessarily always accurate. For example, if you smell chocolate chip cookies and it takes you back to the time when your mom made chocolate chip cookies in your kitchen, and really good feeling, that you're getting triggered, but it's a positive. Christmas music for a lot of people is also very triggering, but it's like, I remember when I was a kid and I got that toy, bicycle. So triggering is just a response, an emotional response to an action. It can be positive, it can be negative. But what we want to do is we want to learn to deal with, the negative triggers. How do they affect us, and how do we protect ourselves? So a common technique is, if you feel triggered, you're seeing something, you're out there that's bringing on a negative emotion, fear, anger, hate, something. Look at this, recognize this. What you want to do is say, okay, why did that cause this problem? Again, our assumption is our body always wants to do what's best for us and protect us, but it may not do it in the best possible way. So if something is, you're just coming up with this fear or hate, why is this happening? And start looking at when this happens, when you get triggered, what are the symptoms you're seeing in your body? What are you feeling in your body? Does your heart start racing? Does your breath get faster? Does your muscles tense up? Does part of your body start aching? Recognize that. When you're triggered, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? Just recognizing what are the symptoms of being triggered. Again, it's important to understand is, hey, are there any mental health or physical issues that may If a person's been traumatized by violence, they will often have a very strong physical reaction. So this is important to note, and just be aware of that in yourself and other people. People who, again, who've been victimized by violence often have these, and they don't. You want to strongly recommend that they seek a therapist and professional help to deal with that. It's not something that you necessarily can help with on your own. So make sure that they deal with it from a professional level if somebody's been through trauma. But it's also recognizing, again, what situations do this. What type of people? I met a woman. We sort of worked together in the same group, but we never really kind of got along. I mean, we were polite, always, very polite to each other and very professional. But then one time she told me that I reminded her of her ex-husband. I didn't know who this person is or what he was like, but obviously something in me had triggered her. And that, okay, now I understood why, why we just, never really clicked. And that's fine. It wasn't my job to try and change her. I just understood better, and it helped me as well. Certain locations can have a very strong positive or negative emotion. Be aware of that, understand that. And then what do you do when you feel these symptoms? Just how does your body respond? And is there something you do that works successfully to deal with that? Oh yeah, if I get triggered by this type of person, I start breathing and, I feel much more relaxed. Or are you doing something that just doesn't work? I kind of tense up and then just freeze. So just recognizing this, what was successful when you get triggered and what's not. And you want to practice those actions that are successful and get rid of those actions that are not. And then here's a table I work with some of my students. And then I just recommend is kind of identify your own vulnerabilities. What, situations where you have felt uncomfortable or been triggered, just identify them. And then, hey, what situations occurred? What were some of the symptoms? How did I deal with that? Was it successful? Did the dealing with it help or did it not help? And just build this out and keep this to yourself. Don't share it with other people because it's sensitive information, but it'll provide you good information so that you can avoid situations that you get triggered, or maybe seek help to take care of those situations where you want to change. If going to the beach triggers me and I want to, I like going to the beach and I want to, you can look for solutions to help you overcome this challenge. So basically, before we start our guided visualization, are there any questions, anything I can answer about, this, about, kind of how to do and treat yourself from a healing perspective? Sure. Hi, Fluffy or Jason?
Yeah. Thank you. I recently lost my lower leg due to a work-related accident and neuropathy from diabetes. And I spent the entire time making fun of my leg. So I can't find any trauma involved because when I think about what happened to me, I just laugh because I really did make that many bad jokes. And I'm trying to find, was there any trauma that I'm overlooking or any sort of shadow work I need to uncover? Because on the surface, I'm finding nothing.
And that's, for a lot of the trauma, I mean, you want to work with, like I said, a therapist to look for it, because sometimes people, the mind hides it, like I said, it doesn't want to deal with it. This is very common, to look at this, to say is, okay, what happened, and then help, like I said, kind of helping move on. I'm sorry about your leg, but you know, a lot of it is how can you move on, you know, and accept it. So if this is something kind of what you'd be looking for, you know, again, you know, what at some point the body may have been trying to say is, we may need to lose the leg because we need to save the rest of your body. Again, I'm speculating, but you can also talk to it. If you do a deep meditation, relaxation, and just go in and say, okay, this happened. What lesson were you trying to teach me? Why did this happen? What was your intentions? Connecting to that part of your body. Again, just doing a deep meditation, it may bring some peace.
Yeah, well, what I did was, after the surgery, I went online and I mailed one of my friends a plastic foot to represent what I went through, sent it to her, and whenever I try to connect to my foot, all I connect to is the foot that I sent my friend. And it says it's happy sitting, and it's happy sitting on the shelf in the living room with a sock on it. And it's telling me to leave it alone.
That's,
It won't.
and if that, does that help you?
It's making me laugh.
Well, good.
Yeah,
then
this is a waste of time.
It sounds like a great approach. If it's, you know, if you're happy with the outcome and, you know, it's helping you heal, then that's good that you found a solution, and it sounds like you've communicated. So that's really, you know, great to take this, you know, event and, you know, help yourself deal. So kudos, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Did I help you? Did I kind of answer that? So
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have another question here from Luna. Can this method be done remotely on behalf of a person to help with healing?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you can do it, you know, there's ways to do it remotely. So if you know, ideally, if you're training with your partner, you know, ideally you can start, you know, in the same room working. That's the best way. You can also do, you know, practice doing it, you know, through Zoom as well. So working through Zoom, you can do a lot of those techniques. Eventually, you don't necessarily need to do Zoom, but you know, it just, like said, it takes a lot of practice working with partners and getting a lot of feedback. So
in that regard, it almost sounds like the biofeedback and the body scanning is almost similar to Reiki. Do you find that to be true?
Yes. I mean, a lot of them are very, very similar. You know, Reiki, you know, again, it's about energy work. It can be done remotely. It's about learning to connect to people. So, but you know, again, even with Reiki, it's so, you know, at least the best results I've seen is, you know, if you're standing, you know, right over the person, but eventually you can get better and better doing it remotely. Again, the important thing is always work with their permission. And there is something called, I kind of debated putting it in this, but it was just spirit release therapy, SRT. I don't know if anybody's heard of it. It's it's basically doing a lot of this work remotely with people who, you know, for example, who may not necessarily be able to make the best decisions. So, for example, you know, if you're dealing with somebody who may be a drug addict, you know, they need help by definition of being, you know, an addict that's out of control, and you can work with them remotely, even if they're not necessarily aware of it, but it's a tool for helping it. So, but again, that's its own, a very specialized training. But it's, good. It's like I said, it's a way to kind of help them. So if you wanted to do a soul retrieval remotely on somebody who's may not necessarily be ready, but their life is literally in danger, it can be done. Other questions? Well, if not, what we're going to do is we're going to do just a very basic guided visualization exercise. We're going to work through some of the techniques we did today on yourself. Feel free to, take this if you want to integrate it into your practice. Feel free to, if you don't, you don't want to, just consider it a one-time practice. So what I want everybody to do is just, get very relaxed. Find a place you can sit down, lay down, whatever makes you most comfortable. And what we're going to do is just kind of get very relaxed. And I just want you to kind of look at a spot on the wall or the ceiling, any place. And just kind of watch it as you breathe in through your nose and exhale through your nose and mouth. Breathing in and out. In through the nose and out. And then just close your eyes. And as you do that, you're going to feel very relaxed. You're going to go into a very light trance, but it's going to feel very good. And we're just going to do a body scan, scanning our bodies, and just connect to it. That's our goal, is just you're going to feel and connect to your body for whenever in the future you need to. And as you do that and relax, I want you to focus on your root chakra. Your root chakra is by your tailbone, down there. And you see or visualize yourself. You breathe in, and it's often associated with the color red. The red associated with a setting sun or blood. And as you connect and feel that opening, it's your connection to the earth. You feel that connection opening, breathing in. As we move up to your sacral, the sacral is part of your lower abdomen. Feel that energy. It's associated with sex and reproduction and life, the continuation of life. Your lower abdomen, you breathe in, associated with the color orange, of an orange, the fruit orange. You see that and you feel it opening up, that connection to the sacral, sex, reproduction, love, having children. Connect as you move up to the next level, your solar plexus. The solar plexus is often associated with the color yellow, the yellow of the midday sun. It's your connection to your whole body. This is a very important chakra because you're connecting to your body. You're just acknowledging and talking to it. You feel this connection. In many people, it was closed, but you're feeling it open. And this connection, now you can connect and talk to your body. As you move up to the next level, this is your chest chakra, your heart chakra. This is your connection to your feelings and your emotions. Many people are not connected to their emotions, and this often causes physical problems. It's associated with the color green, the green of the woods of the Pacific Northwest. And as you feel this opening, you're now feeling connected connected to your emotions and accepting them as you move up to your throat. The throat is a color of blue, blue of a tropical ocean, that blue you see in the Caribbean, light blue. And it's about communications. You're communicating with your body, with your soul, your emotions. We often feel that we can't communicate. And now you feel this opening and this communication improving. You're ready to communicate with your body, your soul, your emotions, other people. As you move up to your third eye, in between your brows, your psychic connection. Many people in our society keep this closed and locked. It's associated with indigo, purple. And I want you to breathe into this third eye and feel this connection expanding. We're accepting of our psychic capabilities we all have. We acknowledge this and we recognize that it's part of us. As you move up to your crown chakra, 2 inches above your head, this is your spiritual aspect. Your part of you that's associated with your spirituality. And you connect to that violet, a deep purple, almost black. You feel that opening and accepting of whatever spirituality and experiences you want or are ready for. And now you're feeling the energy flow from your crown chakra to your root chakra through your open chakras, your crown to your root, to your third eye, to your throat, to your heart, to your solar plexus, to your sacral and root, opening up, freeing your connection. You're connected to your earth, your body, your emotions, the rest of the world, your psychic and the deity. You're feeling this open and connection and ready. And now we're going to do a body scan. We're just going to scan our bodies and just get in connection with it. We're not going to fix anything now. We're just going to acknowledge it. For the first time, you may be connecting to parts of your body and just acknowledge that disconnection and it's trying to tell you. As you now start at the top of your head and you move down, you feel yourself moving down through your body, your brain, down to your mouth. And you feel your mouth, your dental work, and you just feel connected. If you have any, pain or discomfort, just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge that your body is trying to tell you something and that you may need to go talk to a dentist. You thank your body for what it's trying to tell you, and it no longer needs to tell you anything. You no longer need any feeling of discomfort because you've acknowledged it, and you're going to take care of that problem. As we move down to your throat, and this is part of your connection to your communication. You feel it opening up, and you feel that you're much more open to communicating your needs and your concerns, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional. You feel yourself opening more to be willing to communicate this. As we move down to your shoulders, and if you have any discomfort in your shoulders, just breathe into it and acknowledge that part. Acknowledge that there is some discomfort there. You acknowledge this And just thank your body for telling you this. It has your best interest in mind as you connect. And we're now going into your torso, starting with your heart. And just now visualize or imagine you're connected to your heart and you feel it beating, keeping you alive, how important it is. And just acknowledge that. You feel this connection, each beat is keeping you alive. You're connected to it. How important this organ is to your body. As we now move down to your lungs, bringing air, beautiful, healthy air into your whole body. You're now connected to that. You feel it. You feel each breath bringing in healing, healthy air, and each exhale taking away carbon dioxide, getting rid of any unhealthy parts of your body through the lungs, down to your stomach. And the stomach, you now acknowledge, all it does for you. It digests your food. It takes care of you. You feed it. So you are now much more connected to it. And if your stomach is telling you maybe you should stop eating something or it would like something different, listen to it. It has your best interest in maybe telling you to eat less sweets or more vegetables. Just acknowledge that it's telling you this. As you move down a little bit, you can move into your kidneys. And you feel the kidneys. These are one of your largest and most important organs. And just scan it. How does it feel? What is it telling you? Does it need more water? Just listen to your body. And acknowledge how important the kidneys are as you move down to your digestive system, your small and large intestines. And these help digest your food. They're parts of your body that we rarely connect to. We're very often not comfortable dealing with. But I want you to connect to your intestines. It is so important. As you now acknowledge, and if there's anything it's trying to tell you that it wants to eat or not eat, just acknowledge it. You're connecting to it, and it can tell you whatever it needs anytime going forward. And going down to other parts, perhaps your urinary system, part of it as you release, that part of you, the urine. Is there anything it wants to say to you? And just acknowledge perhaps telling you how it wants to be treated. Maybe more liquids, more water. And as we go down further to the knees, many times our knees have taken a lot of trauma. We've not treated them well. They want to tell us, what can we do going forward to treat them better? And just connect, at your knees. What do they want to tell you? Is there anything there? And the rest of your whole body from your waist and below, connect to those parts, your whole body. This part has had a lot of trauma in your life, from falls to running. It's not an area that we give it a lot of love. And just connect and scan it. I want you now just take a deep breath, relaxing, and continue to scan the whole body from your head down to your feet. And see if there's anything remaining that needs to be said. Some part of your body that it needs to tell you. Some part that maybe you need to look at in the future. Perhaps going to see a doctor or dentist or a mental health. Something it's wanting to tell you. Or how you can make a change in your life. Telling you that it needs more sleep, more water to drink, less caffeine, less sugar, and just acknowledge it. You are free to choose what decisions you make, but you've listened to your body tell you. And I want you to now connect to that part of you we call the soul, often called the spirit. You know, it has many names. It's the part of you that makes you yourself. And see if there's anything there it wants to tell you. Anything that you feel it needs to change or would like. Very good. Now you've done a full scan of your body. I want you to now just thank your body and your soul for all they do for you. You acknowledged, they have your best interest at heart. As you relax, we're going to come back to the here and now. But you can repeat this exercise anytime you want, in the morning or the evening as you're laying in bed. Just connect to your body occasionally, listen to it, and know it has your best interest in mind. As you now come back, you're coming back into the room feeling very, very relaxed, so comfortable. You've had this amazing experience. You feel a new experience, much more connected. And you may or may not have change in your life, but as you go into the evening, you're going to feel very relaxed and know that you're better connected to your life and your body and your soul and mind. Coming back, 5, coming up, 4, so relaxed, ready, 3, 2, and now, open your eyes and just, can everybody come in and just say, hey, how are they doing? Let me know everything's okay. Hi, yep, Nina's good. How about Luna? How are you doing? Nicole, Rachel, everybody okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I mean, like I said, is feel free, use this, do it as you please. So, but I want to thank everybody for coming, and I just hope you found this very useful.
There's a comment from Luna that says, personally, I noticed how disconnected I was from my body. Thank you so much for this.
Very common. I think in our society, we are all very disconnected from our body. And I think that causes a lot of our health issues. And it's just the way we are in society. So it's great, you know, that you recognize that. Well, good. If there's no other questions, thank you, and again for all coming.
Thanks for being here, Rich. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you to everybody who joined us for the class today.
Thank you, Nina.